America's baby boomers, along with surviving members of older generations, are about to fuel the greatest wealth transfer of all time. In the U.S. today, according to the Federal Reserve, boomers control a stunning $75 trillion and their elders another $18 trillion of the nation's $141 trillion in total household wealth. While many middle-class retirees will spend their savings, the richest 1% hold 31% of net assets, meaning that most 1%ers will leave plenty to their children, grandchildren, and favorite causes. Out of 88 million living Americans born before 1965, Forbes has identified 572 U.S. billionaires. We estimate they have a collective net worth of $3.9 trillion to pass on, and many aren't planning to pay anything in estate tax. Former Goldman Sachs President Gary Cohn famously quipped, "Only morons pay the estate tax." The estate tax used to be a real revenue raiser, but a quarter century of political, regulatory, and court decisions have limited how much revenue the tax can bring in. Congress raised the amount that a married couple can pass on to heirs without owing estate or gift taxes from $1.35 million in 2000 to almost $26 million this year. The full $26 million can even go into a generation skipping or dynasty trust, meaning it can grow in value for grandkids or later generations without any further gift or estate tax owed. The result of that is that only 0.04% of deaths resulted in estate taxes in 2020, down from 2.18% in 2000. Under current law, the estate tax exemption will fall by about half in 2026, when the temporary Trump tax cuts from 2017 expire. But the IRS has agreed that if that happens, it won't attempt to claw back and then tax money already transferred during life using the larger exemption. One way the rich have long been applauded for avoiding taxes is through philanthropy, which is far easier to love than a loophole. In 2010, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Melinda French Gates created the Giving Pledge, which requires signers to devote the majority of their wealth to charitable causes during life or at death. Since then, 104 current American billionaires worth $1.5 trillion, including 77 born before 1965, have signed. But not all giving is purely charitable. Recently, a new breed of social welfare nonprofits has started clouding the meaning of philanthropy, since these organizations can engage in an unlimited amount of issue lobbying and substantial direct political activity, which are things that traditional charities cannot do. Last year, Coke Industries chairman and co-CEO Charles Koch gave $4.3 billion of non-voting Coke Industries stock to Believe in People, a Wichita-based non-for-profit created under Section 501c4 of the tax code. A C4 is a broad category of social welfare organization that includes everything from volunteer fire companies to the National Rifle Association and the American Civil Liberties Union. In contrast to a traditional 501c3 charity, a C4 can own an entire company indefinitely, and as long as these activities support its principal purpose, engage in an unlimited amount of lobbying, get directly involved in politics, and benefit private individuals. There's no income tax or estate tax deduction for giving money to a C4, as there is to a C3. But in 2015, Congress made a crucial tweak to the law that a Coke lobbyist promoted. That change exempted transfers to a C4 from the gift tax. So a living billionaire can therefore give a C4 a big gift of highly appreciated stock without paying either gift or capital gains tax. The C4 can then sell the stock, capital gains tax free, or hold on to it indefinitely, reaping the dividends, also capital gains tax free. While a few billionaires have put their entire companies into C4s, Coke's $4.3 billion gift to Believe in People is the largest in dollar terms to a C4 that has been publicly disclosed. One of the most popular tools for transferring appreciating assets to heirs or nonprofits tax-free is the Granted Retained Annuity Trust. Gratz basically frees the value of property transferred to the trust, which could typically be business interests, securities, or real estate, so that the future appreciation of that property will pass estate tax-free to the grantor's beneficiaries. Barry Diller, the founder and chairman of internet and media conglomerate IAC, particularly hates Gratz, but they're mainstream now, so he has used them. In addition to the $400 million of stock in former IAC subsidiary Expedia that Diller currently holds in Gratz, he's also transferred more than $1 billion of other assets through Gratz to different trusts for his heirs. Diller's candid and unrepentant about having used a tax-saving technique that he considers bad policy. He told me, "You live within the tax code, and if it says you can do this or that, and it's in the broad mainstream, why would any sentient person act another way?" Phil Knight told me he plans to give the majority of his wealth to charity, but he says that won't happen during his lifetime because he's taken a slow and deliberate approach in order to do it right. He was very outspoken about his belief that the charities he supports will use his money better than the government will, so he views using the tax avoidance tools allowed by the tax code as an important way to maximize the amount of good he's able to do. His son Travis seems to agree with him on that. He acknowledged that some may disagree about who's the best steward of his dad's fortune, but he told me, "I just know that everything that he's been doing is all in an effort to produce the greatest, most meaningful good." He added, "I know that when it's all said and done, all that money's going to be put back into the world." After doing all this reporting, I kind of came away wondering what the point of having an estate tax is if it's so easily avoidable, other than, I guess, creating this lucrative industry for the lawyers and accountants who set up these tax avoidance structures. I definitely didn't find clear answers to a lot of the complex questions that the topic involves, like whether society could benefit from the dollars billionaires spend on their personal philanthropy being pooled and used to fund government programs we all agree on, but they're definitely interesting questions to ponder.